your boy Harry13 and your regular co-host.
Yeah, it's me, Claudio. How's it going, Martin?
Yeah, good. We've got a lot of interesting developments in Pioneer since Kamigawa came out, Neon Dynasty. So yeah,
Yeah,
we
I thought that like the expectation for this set was pretty high, but I think it even surpassed what I was expecting. The impact on Pioneer has been pretty huge. What do you think?
yeah, I think so as well. I think there's been a lot of interesting decks. One that you kind of started, which I'm quite happy to see, doing quite well. We'll talk about that deck because there's quite a few copies in the upper echelons of the tournaments from the weekend just past.
Mm-hmm.
And also we got a new card in Magic Online, which hasn't been available for years in the form of Kaya's Ghost form,
Yeah,
which has had an impact on the format as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on. Let's discuss first of all the Pioneer Challenge on the Saturday.
yeah. So we kind of waited for the metagame to settle when the new set released, so we could actually talk about what kind of decks were having consistent success. Just like not flash in the pan. Like for example, the Esper Grisfang deck. We didn't really know if this deck was going to stick around, but it is. So now we feel like it's a better time to like see where things are going.
Yeah, I agree. That deck looks scary, man. I mean, it's essentially a turn 3 win. Like I think it's very difficult to beat. Turn 3 Perhelion hit you 2/2 Angels. Like, what
Yeah.
do you think? I mean, I think it's like a very impactful
Yeah,
kind.
some decks can just not recover from that, but some can, and that's like we can talk about that when we get to the deck.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's.
So starting here, the deck that won the event was a deck that, as you were saying, I kind of started. It's kind of obvious to arrive at this kind of deck, but like I think I was the first one to actually post results with this kind of list a week ago. And this deck is like built on the back of the Onicult Anvil. So this is like basically a sacrifice deck, but instead of using the food engine, it's using artifacts like the blood cards, the anvil, and synthesizer to grind a lot of card advantage and like use it to answer your opponent's board.
Yeah, I like this deck a lot. I played against it quite a few times now. It's really resilient. It grinds out quite well. You get the benefits of like all into a Lurus package, which is really nice. Lurus is so potent with this deck. I think. You
Yeah,
have, I think once Lurus resolves and you can't answer it straight away, it's very difficult. And it gives you some really powerful cards. Experimental synthesizer is a really nice one.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just really voltage surge is also a good one.
Yeah, this card is really good. It's like extra copies of Fatal Push basically, which is
Yeah,
really nice. It 4 damage kills Winota at instant speed.
yeah,
It can hit Planeswalkers. Like this card is really decent.
yeah. I like that card a lot. Anything you have to say about Whirlpool's build in particular?
Um, Basically he changed some numbers of cards here. Like I like to play one Blood Fountain to have the backup to buy back the Lurus.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing the Soul Guide Lantern, but one more removal spell, less K commands. But like basically it's kind of the same shell. It didn't change that much here.
Yeah,
I see some interesting cards in the sideboard, like the Bifrost.
yep,
Like this is kind of supposed to be like maybe a trump in the mirror. Some anti-artifact cards that are starting to see play now. Bifrost is one of them. Some people are playing Vandal Blast in the sideboard.
yeah. It's a
That's
nice inclusion.
yeah, that's one red for the sorcery to destroy target artifact, and it has Overload for 5, I think.
Yeah, I was playing my deck at the moment. The Jund, kind of similar-ish, like using Oni Cult with like Mayhem Devil and stuff. And I played against a Burn player, like a Z Manuel, who just plays Burn like all the time, and they played Smash to Smithereens against me, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
oh,
those kind of
okay,
effects are nice. So you're going to start seeing them more.
yeah, I think so as
Yeah,
well.
but like this is the most this is the deck that I have played in Pioneer, where the lures is at its most powerful.
I
Like
agree.
you really abuse the lures in this deck,
Yep.
bringing back not only your typical creatures, but like bringing back the synthesizers and like the Rhinos and stuff. This you just gain so much card advantage.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
this deck,
So
I really like this deck. I think it's going to stick around for a while. One disadvantage of this is that your clock is really slow, since like this you kind of kill them by with like a bunch of 1/1s and draining them with the anvil.
yeah,
So like if you are playing as decks that require a fast clock like Lotus Field, this is going to be a weak deck.
yeah,
And you are a bit disadvantaged against Jund because Terra of Crumbs is something that you don't have access to, so you're going to
yeah,
get out grinded there.
yeah,
But this deck has its own qualities as well. Like it's really interactive. It's really good against control decks. I quite like this. You're not that vulnerable to hate, graveyard hate
hmm
as well, which is nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe add some Alpine Moons to some extent if we think we're going to play against Lotus again. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I see that he cut Necromancia. That's a card I have in my sideboard because if I get paired into that, since you have a lot of card draw, maybe that's a get out of jail free card that you
yeah,
can apply towards. Yeah,
yeah,
but nothing much to say about this. But like I expect for this deck to stick around. It's really good.
yeah. And
Okay,
then
so
we have Esper Greasefang, another Greasefang combo with the Parhelion Greasefang has been tried out in a lot of different shells. This time it sees its place in Esper. Which yeah, I can see it gives you access to like some form of like counter spells permission to try and protect your combo. It's got 3 copies of Silence, that's a lot, but you'll probably pitch that to Otherworldly Light from time to time. March of the Otherworldly Light's card's making a big impact in Pioneer at the moment. It's a really,
really, really powerful card.
yeah, really powerful. It's no surprise. And then obviously you're playing cards like Thirst for Knowledge. It's basically just like it's kind of similar to like what was the deck called? God's Pharaoh's Gift. In a sense, like it's kind of similar kind of card you would expect to see there. But I think the
Yeah,
combo was a
you're
lot
looking to
easier.
discard your big artifact and reanimate it with
Yeah,
this thing. So yeah, it's kind of similar.
yeah. And you've got a Karn the Great Creator. I quite like this build. It's quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I might
Yeah,
try it
I
out
think
at some
I
point.
think that what the reason why this deck is good is because since you're playing the white removal, you get to have main deck answers to hate cards as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So you already have answers to Rest in Peace, for example, which is pretty good.
Yeah. I wonder if this deck should play like Consider. Like hitting Parhelion off the top wouldn't be the worst. But I guess you have cards like Thirst for Knowledge and I
Yeah,
don't
like
know. There's only
I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about the
yeah.
silence.
I don't think you need Silence to be honest. But I guess like they want it so no one can really interact with them. But like I don't know when you're playing it. Main, I just probably wouldn't play it main to be honest.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
would
not sure.
likely try to pair the Grisfang with either discard spells or just counter magic. Like Stubborn Denial seems to work.
Yeah, Stubborn Denial is quite nice. Obviously, I also don't know about Sky Sovereign in the main either. Don't know if that's like worth playing outside of Parhelion, but maybe you just need a critical mass of big artifacts to bring back.
Yeah, like this is a bit different from the list we have been seeing. Like the typical Esper list is playing Tezzeret. So in that list you can play some more good artifacts. Like The new vehicle, the second Maze Mind Tome, is really good, and you
Mm.
can bring that back with Grisfing as well.
Uh-huh.
I think Deseret makes more sense in the deck than Karn.
Yeah.
It works kind of well with your plan.
And also it should be noted that Karn is bugged on Moto at the moment. It makes everything 1/1s, unfortunately, so it's not as powerful. There's been a lot of times where like I'm playing like Karn in my Jund build and like I can't attack through with my Sky Sovereign. I'm just kind of like, come on, like this should be a 5/5, not a 1/1, and I'm attacking into like. One time I was attacking into like an Avacyn. I managed to kill the Avacyn anyway, given I had Mayhem Devil in the play and had a sack outlet, but like it was kind of frustrating. I felt like I was getting like penalized. I don't know when they'll change that. Hopefully it gets rectified soon. But yeah, no, I like this deck a lot. This build, yeah, I mean these builds are going to be quite rough around the edges to start with, and then someone's going to find like an optimum build for it and hopefully kind of take the deck forward. I think I don't really like the combo in terms of like I think it's like really can be like a turn 3 kill essentially. Not kill, but like turn 3. Like it's kind of like Winota except worse in a way. But
I think it's fine in a sense because now that we have this card, I was in a bunch of situations where I could answer Grisfang because I could pitch cards from my hand early.
yeah.
And the thing is that when you answer Grisfang with the trigger on the stack, the Pyrohelio goes back to their hand with nothing to crew.
Yeah.
So like they kind of have to discard it again and find another Grisfang.
Yeah. But it's a nice deck for sure. It's good to see some of the new decks doing well. Shall we crack on?
All right, so we have here another big winner from the new set, in my opinion, like Lloyd Control. This build is very interesting. It's playing like more of a mid-range style with few counter spells and more like more hand removal basically. Like it's you're playing Far Emperor, which is kind of too much for my taste. But this card has really impressed me. I think it's a really good card.
Yeah, I think like when you built your initial configuration of Blue-White Control after playing it, I quickly realized that we need more Wandering Emperors in the main. Becomes like a fast win con as well. I was kind of I would probably play like I'd probably play 2 copies main now. I'm not a big fan of this build. There's a lot of weird numbers that I just don't really like 1 absorb. Divide by 0, I don't hate, but like I don't know. 2 Supreme Verdict and 2 Farewell again. Like Farewell was so expensive. Like I like it in the grindy matchups for sure. Like if you're going to get like go quite long against like the red black deck, but if you're against like anything reasonably aggressive, it's just not going to get there.
I kind of understand this split a little bit because they're playing for Emperor and like
Yeah.
Emperor has that weird settle the racket vibe. It's quite difficult attacking to it most of the time because if they attack with small creatures, you can flash this in and make a blocker. Or like if they attack with a bunch of big creatures, you can just exile one and gain 2 life.
Yeah. No, like I think
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good, the Wandering Emperor, but again, probably wouldn't play 4 copies.
Yeah. I think you can get people really good if you play like a Settle plus the Emperor because then you just put the fear in them, like what they're going to play against. If you attack with only 1 creature, the Emperor can just kill it. If they attack with a bunch of things, you can settle them.
Yeah,
and
really
I like that this is like essentially if you're playing a matchup where people are not attacking you as much, this is just a Gideon with flash.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe we can play Blue-White Flash again.
Yeah, Spell Quellers.
Spell Quellers, Avacyn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of the question, to be honest.
No, I don't think it's out of the question either.
Yeah, like this
Reflector
card is
Mage.
so strong in this deck. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. March is like a 4
Previously,
of.
like you would suffer to deal with creature lands, and now you just have a 1 mana answer
Yeah,
as well. Like
I think it's finally the removal spell White's been needing to make it like decent again. Like I felt like I was basically always against playing like blue white control for a long time just because you didn't have any decent 1 mana answers to anything. And now you've got our like instant speed removal that was like borderline unconditional. March of the Otherworldly Light gets you pretty close to that. So
mm,
I'm very happy with that card. For Pioneer specifically, definitely a
yeah,
really good design. Yeah, we like blue white control is potentially back in the menu. So yeah, nice to see it.
yeah.
So
No, we are not sure about this build, but like this archetype is for sure going to
yeah, I would never
improve.
play Hullbreaker Horror main. I'm just dead
Yeah,
against it. Never play Hullbreaker Horror main. It's never worth it. Never worth it.
yeah. The curve of this deck is going a bit high as it is. So
For 26 lands plus Jawari Disruption again. Like I just rather play Censor's just a better card than Disruption in my opinion. Just don't like it.
yeah, Sensor is quite nice.
Yeah, Censor, just don't play Jawari Disruption over Censor. Censor's so much better. But make it fit into your deck and don't. Yeah, I would not go as high on the curve as this, but yeah, the overall feel is there, and there's a deck
Yeah, I
there.
quite like the farewell. To be honest, I think I would play one main, one sides though, because like
Yeah,
this card is really back breaking against the Jund
yeah.
decks and also against auras is all right.
They're also playing like 4 Typhoon and 4 Gus in the board. I think I'm not going to critique the creator too much, but
I think it makes sense when you're building your main deck like this, so you can take out the removal for the typhoons when you're playing against a blue mirror, for example.
there's not really that many blue mirrors, right? I don't think you need 4. I think you can like the thing that I think is like there's not a lot of like efficient permission. Like I'd probably play like a third dispute.
Mm.
I think you're making room for like what was that card? Divide by Zero. I don't know if I want to play that to be honest.
It's
Um,
weird to see divide by zero and not see the other cards though. Like I think it makes sense if you're playing the other license.
mhm.
Like the 7 mana one is like just in condition. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about this deck. Like,
Yeah, me neither. Okay. Next up,
to have here House Mana playing Ascendancy.
Sensei.
And we are going to see like some of the quote unquote old decks doing well as well, showing that those decks are just not dead, of course,
Yeah.
but still quite good. I think that build here is fairly stock, but it's using 2 copies of the new card, which is quite
Yeah.
nice.
It's kind of similar to like a build I would make. It's get a little bit more removal in place of like extra mana dorks, which I can get behind. I really like Sensei. I've been playing it for quite a while
Mm.
now. The main issue, what kind of put me off Ascendancy, was the fact that March of the Otherworldly Light was printed. I don't like the fact that a lot of decks have main deckable answers, like unconditional main deckable answers to
Just
Ascendancy now.
Ascendancy,
So
yeah.
like your game ones are less free, and I don't like the fact that post board it's going to get even worse because people are just going to bring in loads. And if you are like House is only playing 2 mentor in the board, I'd probably play 3 because like a lot of the times in with the Ascendancy deck is yeah, you're a combo deck, but like it's very hard to combo post board against a lot of matchups. So you need a solid game plan B. And I think the mentor plan is just really good because people find it really tricky to sideboard against the deck because they're
Mm-hmm.
basically it's kind of like Splinter Twin in a way where people like it got to the point where like people were just boarding out most of the combo and then people were bringing in strictly anti combo pieces and you would just like win like a reasonably fair game. So like if I'm playing this deck, I want to play like 3 mentor. If I think House is a good player. Do you know what I mean? Like his deck's like there's nothing really to critique.
Yeah,
To be
this
honest.
deck is like pretty clean.
Yeah,
So
I don't really have
it's
any
fine.
strong critiques here. My only concern would be like sideboard, maybe one extra mentor, and that's
Yeah.
for like.
I think I would play 4 copies of this card though.
I'd play 4 copies. I'd probably cut like
Between like
2.
main and sideboard, because like this card deals with deafening silence and stuff. I think that card got a lot worse now.
Yeah, I think like Fire Impulse is probably unnecessary. You can probably
Yeah.
trim a number of portables, like maybe one or two, one maybe. I'd probably like 2 to 3 copies of March in the main and like 1 to 2 in the sideboard. But yeah, not really much to say about it. It's good. It's still a good deck. I'm just not playing it at the moment. That's all.
Yep. Looks really good.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we have another Angel deck here in 5th place.
Yeah, I think Gavin. Yeah, I don't really. I think we're best going over like all the new decks over the 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I think
Just
like talking over the same deck again is, but it's a good thing to note that the Black Red Anvil put up multiple copies in the top 8.
Yeah, just see if there's any different card. I don't think so. It's
No,
just like the
it's
same
pretty
list.
much the same.
So here in 6th place we have Phoenix. This deck didn't really gain any new cards, I think, besides like the channel lands.
Yeah. One thing to note, Entrancing Melodies coming stock in the sideboard again, and Thingy Nice is going down, which
Honestly, this is weird to me.
yeah, I mean
This
like
card looks
Andre
kind of.
Andre was talking about playing 0 Thingy Nice, and whether or not that's correct, like playing 0 Thingy Nice makes me not want to play Phoenix. If Thingy Nice isn't worth playing, then I don't really want to play the deck, to be honest. I think the card was like one of the main draws to play the deck, with how fast you could flip it and how powerful it was. As a like, you don't really have a random "I win the game on turn 2" button anymore if you're playing 0, and I don't really like that. Personally, but I could be wrong. Yep, it might just be
Basically the move that people are doing is like they're playing loads of 1-mana removal and like some bounce spells now instead of playing a creature. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's what people started to do, like playing Mendex turn dismissal.
Yeah, I just think it opens yourself up to random graveyard hate. Like game 1, postboard, obviously you bring in some planeswalkers and stuff, and you have a different game plan, but don't know.
Yeah, I think this deck is extremely weak to Blue-White Control, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the deck's still pretty good. Like I like that Otwara can bounce 8 pieces as well.
Yeah, Otwara is nice. Is a nice addition to that deck. Not having to play the Brazen Borderers.
Yeah. So in 7th place we have. Yeah, so just touch here. They're playing Tezzeret in this version.
Yep.
And 8th place we have Slasher playing Phoenix as well.
Yep.
And this is playing Farthing in the Ice, right?
Yep. Kind of classic version. Playing Stern Dismissal main is kind of becoming more stock. So stuff like that is another reason why, like if I'm playing Ascendancy, I just feel like my game 1s get harder. So I don't have the same. If my game 1s are less free, then it makes me feel like I'm working too hard to win.
That's like the whole premise of the deck, right? If you're playing the deck because people can't really interact with the combo very well.
Yeah. And then if you feel like people are incidentally having like pieces that can interact with your combo well main now, it's kind of like, well, kind of puts me off playing the deck.
Yeah.
You just have to work a lot harder for your wins. So, yeah, I think we can
move on to the next one, right?
Yeah, because that's like yeah.
Okay, so this was the showcase qualifier. So a bit more high stakes tournament. And here in first place, we see what happens every time people start doing a bunch of grindy, mopey stuff, like Hidden Strings shows
someone good plays Hidden Strings and just takes it down. So
I think this is the build that Nemo's playing with the Peer into the Abyss, Behold the Beyond package.
Yeah. I've played this deck. It's quite nice. It is quite nice.
Yeah, it's quite powerful. I don't think
Yeah.
Oh, they're not playing Boseiju?
Maybe they just didn't have it.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but yeah, this deck for sure should be playing at least one Boseiju.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty stock. One of the kind of more stock lists for Hidden Strings. So should be on your radar. It's not really a deck I'd ever play in Pioneer leagues. I always feel like you always get randomly paired into Hidden Strings in Pioneer, and it's miserable. But at the same time, when you're playing Hidden Strings in Pioneer leagues, it's also miserable because there's a lot of grinders out there that just want to play fast aggro decks, and you just get ran over.
Yeah.
But I think
this deck is terrible against the aggressive strategies, but it's a really strong tool if you know when to play it.
Yeah, it's good to have the ability to play this deck in your arsenal for tournaments if you feel like it's in a good spot for any given weekend. Have you noticed that like blue white scissors is just not? Is it disappeared? Yeah, blue white.
It was really well represented in the first week.
Yeah, and it's just
It was basically
off,
everywhere. Yeah,
and it's fallen off the radar. So Sam Party came in second.
I think the deck has just a super hard time beating this kind of deck. Like you are not getting through the blockers.
Yeah. So Sam Party showed up with this. Sam Party is kind of known for playing Jund Food. I think he's kind of like Jabberwocky in that sense, where he has a deck in Pioneer, and he'll basically, as long as it's like reasonable to play, he'll play it, and he does pretty well with the deck. I like this deck. I've been playing it. I top eighted with it last challenge. However, I kind of misbuilt my deck. Like I took the Onika Anvil out the sideboard, which was a bit of a mistake. I don't think it's necessarily the best Karn option. I actually don't take it that highly with Karn in a lot of situations, but it's definitely a card you should have access to in the sideboard. So this deck pretty stock. What changes? Basically, I think there's a good consensus that Prosperous Innkeeper isn't really good in the deck. So going forward, you might see builds with 0 Prosperous Innkeeper, which I'm already experimenting with, and you'll probably see people go up with at least one extra copy of Onicult Anvil, and then maybe a third Meathook Massacre. I'm personally playing a Corvold, as I think it's a good way to beat the mirror, and it's also just a very good win con to have access to in the deck. But overall, the deck's nice. I think at some point I'd like to see someone like tinker with the artifacts, because there's actually, as bad as this sounds, I actually don't mind having access to Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard. Purely, like, there's cards that I'm not really like. Treasure Vault's an interesting one. Sometimes it's good to randomly just get it and sack for permanence for Bolas' Citadel. That's something you can do with it. But like, yeah, I feel like Winota is a deck that shows up from time to time, and having access to like a Grafdigger's Cage, even if it does hurt your like Cauldron Familiar package, like sometimes it is worthwhile.
I think you could have like the Hedron Allied network or something.
Is that exile all permanents with power 4 greater?
Yeah.
Yeah, could do.
So you can just like not hurt yourself, because there's a lot of things you can do with the current package. You pretty much have access to a tool to answer every situation.
Yeah.
This is kind of what John looks like now. It's just a current deck because it's really good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think the deck's going to be pretty solid going forward.
Yeah, like the current just destroys the scissors deck, so maybe that's why it has disappeared.
Yeah, it makes sense. Third place, we got Andre with his take on Phoenix with 0 thing in the ice. He has his reasons. He's obviously came third in the event, so he knew what he was doing. Fair play to him. Playing a lot more removal spells from what we can see.
2 bounces.
2 Stern Dismissals, yep. Yeah, fair enough. Like,
we kind of touched on this already, so yeah. Let's see if how this develops. Like, if this is going to
Yeah.
become deck, because I think that this can't really be the deck in the long run because it's
Yeah.
like really spoilable. Like if you deal with the 4 Phoenixes, how are you even winning? Like 2 Heart of the Storm Giants, maybe that's not going together.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is like a flash in the pan tech. Once it gets revealed, you just move on to the next thing, right? Like, I feel like you do get an edge for like a specific weekend and like surprising people and people not knowing your lists. I think like especially with like very competitive players, like they'll do anything to try and get an edge. Um and maybe this was to do for this specific weekend, but yeah, I don't think this is going to be the build going forward. Like I wouldn't take this build going forward. I think if people are aware that Phoenix aren't playing Thing Nice, then it makes it a lot easier to play around.
Yeah.
Tunak, another kind of serial top eighter.
Yeah, I think Rakdos Anvil did really well here.
Yeah,
Those
McWin's
two
also playing it.
copies.
Yeah,
Top 8. Slightly different builds, but like almost the same.
yeah,
6th place, yeah, this is also, I think this is closer to the list I was playing in the beginning. It's playing the Blood
yeah,
Fountains, which is something I really like.
yeah.
In 7th place, we have
Quality
Rakdos mid
to
range.
Jeez.
How this deck is doing so well, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think the deck's bad. It's just like you're working a bit harder to win because like yeah, you've got some like good cards, but there's not really like I don't know. I just think the
Yeah, to be
deck
fair, I kinda like this build. Like 3 K commands look really good right now.
Legion's End, yeah.
Yeah, I like the inclusion of this card because it, like, while it's not an amazing card, I think the deck is bad not because the cards are bad, because it sometimes you just don't do anything.
Yeah,
It feels like you're too reactive and you
yeah,
don't have enough stuff to curve out.
yeah. Graveyard Trespasser is still such a good card.
Yeah,
It's kind
this
of
is still
difficult.
really good. Yeah, they're playing a card I really like in the sideboard. I have been playing this card in some of my decks, and this card is pretty good. The Tsugu Consumzal.
Uh,
It's kind of nice against the Lurus decks since
yeah.
you like clean up most of the stuff and you exile the graveyard. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a nice one from the new set as well. And in 8th place we have Powin.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He crushed
Blue
you,
black,
mate.
yeah, they're playing blue black control, and in typical fashion of this player, they're playing a bunch of one-offs.
Yeah. One copy of Jace Prince Prodigy, one Brazen Borrower. That's yeah, like if I don't know. Feels like I feel like they play the same list and they don't change anything, but they've added like Ottawara, Soren City, so they're clearly aware of like new cards that came out. Yeah, fair play to them. Like they did well in the tournament. I'm not really a fan of blue black at the moment. Just, just
Yeah, it's
feels
funny now, right? Because now blue black is the deficient control deck because you don't have
yeah,
any answers to like enchantments and artifacts, and blue white
yeah.
has the
I just
answers.
I just wouldn't play this in a world of like Jund and the Rakdos matchup must be horrendous with this deck.
Yeah,
Like I just don't see how you beat that. Like once they get on board with the anvils and stuff, like how do you win? Like you don't have anything for it. It's just so like I remember like when John was a deck and John is a deck again. Playing blue black against those decks is horrible. As soon as they resolve Trailer Crumbs, you just feel like you can't win. Like
mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I don't know. Like
Yeah, and
I
against the
just
evil deck, like Shadow's Verdict, it's not even good because
yeah,
yeah,
and they're not even playing Shadow's Verdict.
yeah, they're not playing that. Wow.
So I mean, I can understand with Shadow's Verdict, but like, I just don't get it. Like, I'm not gonna try and like, you know, throw shade or anything. I've been a big fan of Blue Black Control for a long time, but I don't know. I think I wouldn't recommend playing this build. I wouldn't recommend playing blue-black control in general at the moment. I think you're playing like control, play blue-white. I think blue-white's just fundamentally better at the moment. I always said that I would play blue-black for as long as white hadn't had access to efficient removal, but now it does. Play blue-white. Don't play blue-black.
Yeah,
Now's
and like
not the time.
the very hit of them now is just a superior card if you compare it to
Yeah.
Ashok. Like Ashok is not bad, but the Teferi is just amazing.
Yeah, play blue-white. If you're going to play control, play blue-white. Blue-black's just, it's now lost its edge in the control, as far as control's gone. So, but yeah, well done, Powen. Top 8, qualified for the showcase, did your job. Good job, mate. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be recommending the builds, but yeah, good job nonetheless. So I guess
you love to see this a small thing.
yeah,
The most played cards that can fund is Terrarium. Yes.
You've warped the format, Claudio.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
very
let's
nice.
look at. Can we look at some notable players? Can we take a look at Javier Dominguez's 4-color ascendancy and Jabberwocky's blue-white control to see how they're trying to get an edge? So
I think I saw this list. It's okay. Yeah, they're playing the 4 marches, which is something I really like.
yeah, and they're playing 2 mentor. They're playing 3 Sylvan Awakening, 2 Growth Spiral. This list is fairly stock. Like, there's nothing really surprising. They've just incorporated the 4 March of the Otherworldly Light.
Yeah, I don't know how much Javier plays Pioneer. I see him time to time in some
Yeah,
Pioneer.
yeah. I think this list is good. If I was to play an Ascendancy list going forward, it probably would be this list from Javier. Like, I think this list is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at
Uh,
Jabberwocky to see how he's built blue-white control. So he's playing Kahira, so he opts to play Kahira. Like we said, he's playing 2 Wandering Empire. That is a good number. 3 Sensor, no Jawari Disruption. He's playing 2 Absorb, 2 Sinister Sabotage, probably to do with the balance on the deck. He's playing 0 March. Okay. 0 March in the entire deck.
yeah, and he's playing this card, which is
Okay, I take it back. Jabberwocky, what are you doing?
but I get why would you play this, because it's going to cost 3 in the matchups where you're bringing it against, I guess. But not exiling all the stuff seems not great.
Yeah. Okay. It's always interesting, but I'm not 5-head, so I'm not going to try and critique too much. I think you probably want to play March. I think he's opting for consider build. I don't know. In Azorius Charm.
I like Azorius Charm. I'm playing a couple in my list. It's like okay, especially now that people are playing Enso again. It's a decent enough answer to Citadel.
Yeah.
All
so so that was the 2. So let's like wrap up and let's discuss like where do you think the format's heading then? What is there anything you're interested in trying out over the next week or 2? As you know, the top levels reveal that Black Red is probably the deck to beat at the moment. Hidden Strings making its rogue appearance as it does from time to time. For me personally, I'm probably going to continue to work on Jund for the time being and maybe adapt the deck to the meta. I think By Force is a nice card to play. Vandal Blast is like I'd only play it as a one of. I think By Force Vandal Blast is probably where I'd go to. Notice that Black White Auras didn't put up any results.
Yeah.
I
think the deck is bad against Black Red.
Yeah. I think it's bad against
I'm not sure how bad you are against Jund, but I think you are for sure bad against Black Red. The deck has so much removal and blockers, so if you're not flying over, you're not attacking.
Yeah. But I think with John though, like, it's an interesting matchup because sometimes if you can resolve Mayhem Devil early, it's just really difficult for them to kind of really get an edge. Like they bring in apostles, but you still have like a plethora of anvils that just make 1/1 colorless blockers, so they can't push through because you're just constantly sacking them to the, if they resolve the apostle, it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the trick thing is like as always is the grip spoon.
Yeah. I might actually, even as bad as this sounds, I might even the Kaigetsu is quite a nice card. That I'd consider playing in some decks. I think it's a really nice card.
Yeah, I think that cards like that Sogo and Culling Ritual are just like very well positioned right now.
Yeah.
If you obviously can't play that in Jan, but if you, that's why I'm kind of looking to maybe play Niv now that the format has kind of settled, because like you're very good into this kind of decks.
Yeah.
The only worrisome part there is that people are playing blue-white control again. So yeah, I'm also looking at blue-white since it's deck that I have really enjoyed playing in the past, and it feels like it's finally good now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably going to keep working on that. I have been playing it for a while. Yeah, I'm being quite happy with it.
That's good. I might consider playing Niv actually. Like you said, with the Kaigetsu, I can't even say it, and the Culling Ritual. That's an interesting one, and it's probably the only
Also,
shell.
Yasharn just destroyed this deck.
Yeah, Yasharn's just so good. You could probably play Yasharn in Ascendancy, thinking about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point as well. Like, I have seen people start playing Yasharn in like Winota and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm,
Is also well positioned. There's a bunch of like I think the sacrifice style decks are the most popular right now.
Yeah.
Between all the variations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Yeah, potentially that's the way to go. Potentially Niv, potentially some form of like more tuned sideboard cards for what you're expecting to come up. Yeah, I might play Ascendancy again actually. I might try I might try tune the sideboard a bit, see how it fares out, see how it plays out. The issue is like
you could also try to go like over the top of all of this and try to play the Hinata stuff.
yeah, I might try the Hinata again. I just need a better mana base, I think.
Yeah. Hinata Magma Opus is something that people are trying to make work, but I think like the deck is going to be a bit slow. But when it goes over the top, it goes hard. So that might be something that it's worth doing in this metagame.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right.
Yep, let's leave it at that. It was good discussion, and yeah, Claudio and I, bit of a delay from the last episode. It's just been difficult trying to synchronize our timetables, but yeah, we'll aim to be back in another couple of weeks, and let's see if what we said, what we think, how it might pan out, how the format might pan out. Let's see if it comes true.
Yeah,
So
that sounds pretty good to me.
Yep. Until next time, guys. See y'all later.
Yeah, until next time. Bye.